Hi, good morning, good afternoon, and maybe good evening. Today's session is about DTO. DTO. Why to avoid DTO in OOP nowadays? Sometime in the past, even we can say so far, DTO was very, very popular. The time was very good for DTO, but seems the future is not good for DTO. Okay. DTO is being sidelined nowadays. So this session is why do we need to replace DTO, or why do we need to consider using DTO, right? It's not as good as we used to think it off, right? So we have realized later on that DTO has its own side effects, right? Side effects. What are the side effects? Today I'm going to talk about them, right? I'm talking about them, so we can start. Yeah, so you guys know what DTO is. DTO is lighting, but it's a lightweight object designed for what purpose? For data transfer between different layers of an application, right? For example, from the client to the server, right? Or from one service to another service. So far we use DTOs to transfer data, right? It's a data structure. We can say it is a data structure, okay? That encapsulates the data that needs to be transferred between different layers of the application, right? Different layers of the application. This is very important. This was popular, especially because of the security, right? Because of security perspective, this was very, very popular. Okay. It encapsulates data fields, right? It encapsulates data fields and provides getter and setter methods for accessing and modifying this data. Yeah. This is implemented using serializable, right? Serializable like this. Like example is this one, right? You can say, for example, if we have a user domain, we can create a user DTO of that domain, right? And this implements serializable. That means it can be serialized. When it implements serializable, it means it can be serialized and deserialized, right? When we say serialization, it will be the object will be changed into byte streams, right? Byte streams changing for what purpose? For storage or for transport on the network, right? But deserialization is the opposite, right? The opposite action, changing the byte stream into getting back into the object, right? Constructing the object back from the byte stream is called deserialization. So user DTO is both serializable and deserializable. Okay, why? Because this is the data transferred between different services or layers of the application, so it needs to be transported, right? It needs to be transported. So for transporting purpose, it needs to be serialized, right? Serialized. Example of this one, for example, we need to expose only two properties of a user, right? Assume we have a user, right? It may have salary, a department, something like that, right? Age, something, but we need to only expose two fields, right? Username and email. That's why we put them on the user DTO, right? With the DTO. This is good. So as I told, DTO is used mainly to hide, to expose only the necessary data, or only the required data, right? To the other service. For example, here we are exposing only two, right? Username and email. For example, other purpose like salary is not exposed here, right? Exposed. For example, password like that. Okay, these are not exposed because of security, right? For security purpose. So, what are the drawbacks of DTOs? Why is DTOs being sidelined recently or nowadays, right? Why? Because of the following side effects, right? Okay, because it has so many, some drawbacks. Because of that, it for example, hinders the maintenance, the scalability, and the code quality, right? Okay, we have come to understand that it has a side effect in, or it's a drawback in hindering application maintenance, scalability, and code quality. Why? Because of the following reasons. Why? Number one is anemic objects, right? DTOs are often criticized for being anemic. They are anemic. What does anemic mean? Meaning they lack behavior and only serve as data containers. Okay, they don't represent the business logic. They only represent data containers. So they are anemic, right? You can say they are anemic. So they don't encapsulate business logic, okay, which can lead to code duplication. This leads to code duplication and violation of the DRY. Don't repeat yourself in principle, right? It's violates this principle. Don't repeat yourself because of the duplication is repeating itself, right? So it's violating the don't repeat yourself. Okay, this is one reason. Second reason is code duplication, right? Code duplication. Okay, it seems a bit similar to the anemic one. Okay, so when changes are made to domain objects or business logic, corresponding update must be made to DTOs, right, leading to duplicate effort and increase my maintenance overhead. You know this one. So every time we made any changes for the business logic or the business domain or the business objects, we need to update the DTOs, right? So this is the overhead, maintenance overhead. This creates a maintenance overhead, right? It's not a simple thing. It's a big overhead, right? It's a big overhead. So these are the two reasons. Next, third one is namespace, right? Namespace pollution, right? It pollutes the namespace. What does it mean? For example, assume we have a large scale application, okay? So the large number of DTOs can clutter the namespace, right? Large scale application means we will have large number of DTOs, right? Large number of DTOs on top of the domain objects, right? We will have large number of DTOs. So this is polluting the namespace, right? Polluting the namespace, which makes the code base harder to navigate and maintain, right? This makes very harder to navigate and maintain. Okay, it's also a big side effect or drawback of DTOs, especially where the application is large in scale, right? With the application is large in scale, it becomes very, very difficult to navigate and maintain, okay, the application because of a large number of details on top of the domain objects. The fourth one is data inconsistency. Data inconsistency. Okay, since details are separate from domain objects, we know already, right? Details are separate from domain objects. Ensuring data consistency and integrity across the application can be challenging, right? It's challenging, leading to potential data duplication and inconsistency. This also creates data inconsistency, right? Data inconsistency. Because why? Because details are separate from domain objects, right? We are creating. You can take details like a view in database, for example, in executive database tables. We create views, right? Views, they contain some part of the table, right? For different reasons, for example, for security reasons, it may be for security reasons. So the view is nothing but is a virtual table, right? It's a virtual table that contains some data of the table, right? The table that need to be exposed to the external part of the application, or you can say to another part, so to a different or external application, right? Application service can be a different service, right? For a security purpose, we can organize some data of the table into a view, and that view will be accessed by the external service, right? So same is true for DTOs, right? So DTOs are separate from the domain objects. This creates data inconsistency, right? Data inconsistency. Okay, reason five, right? What is the reason? What is the fifth reason for sidelining DTOs, right? DTOs is performance overhead, right? Performance overhead. As you may know, DTOs are introduced. There is a mapping between DTOs and domain objects, right? We create DTOs by mapping with the original domain objects, right? Domain objects. So this mapping takes introduces performance overhead, right? Performance overhead. It takes a considerable amount of time and CPU time, right? A considerable amount of CPU time. So this is introducing the performance overhead. Okay. Why? Because of the time taken for mapping, right? Mapping, we need to map, right? We need to map the data between the DTOs and the domain objects, right? Domain objects, right? We need to change from the domain objects to DTOs and from the DTOs to the domain objects back, right? Back and forth, back and forth. So this takes us a considerable amount of time, a considerable amount of CPU time or computational time, right? So because of this fifth reason, DTO is not being considered as a best choice, right? A best choice. So we need to replace it, right? We need to replace it. Yeah, so conclusion, you will need, I have put these five main points you can add. I'm not saying these are the only reasons, right? These are the only reasons that we need to avoid using DTOs, okay? DTOs. So it's up to you, okay? I'm not saying avoid it completely by yourself. I'm telling you the side effects, so it's up to you. I'm not saying that it does not have the benefits. It has the benefits, so you need to compare the benefits over the drawbacks, right? Or drawbacks. So if you think the advantage outweighs the drawbacks, you can take the DTOs, like you can continue using. If not, stop using DTOs and use alternatives, right? Use alternatives. There are some alternatives for this, right? Some alternatives for this. I will present the alternatives another time, right? This session is only for the reasons, right? Because I believe in the single responsibility, okay? Not only services, but videos should also be single responsibility, right? So I don't need to merge responsibilities, right? So this video is about only one responsibility or one duty, right? One purpose only. Its purpose is declaring or mentioning the side effects of or the drawbacks of DTS, right? Another time I will come up with a different one, that is what are the replacements of DTS, okay? So single responsibilities. I believe in single responsibility, right? Even in videos, not only in services or service designers, but in video designers also, single responsibility is very good for understanding. It becomes precise and short, right? It makes precise and short. It's easier for understanding, right? Easier. So another time I will come up with the replacements, right? What are the replacements for this one? Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining. So see you next time. Happy learning. Try to subscribe to this channel at this tutor, okay? This tutor. Yeah. Thank you. See you another time.